Hey guys, this is Mijaelle again. Welcome to Heartbeats. Today I am talking to Nancy G, who is an artist under Muthaland Entertainment. And she is passionate about music and delivering a heartfelt message. This is a really cool interview. Have fun. So, Nancy, hi. So does music run in the family?
Actually, music does run in my family. My dad used to play guitar, used to be in a band with his 5 brothers.
Oh, cool.
They used to call themselves the Ginindza 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I inherited my first guitar from him as well.
Oh, awesome, man. And then what about, I heard that you were inspired by artists like Neil Young. So what about their music also inspired you to really become a musician?
Yeah, it did, especially as a guitarist. I used to listen to Neil Young in my dad's car. I'm sure I've said this 100 times in interviews.
Yeah.
But it's the true story.
Yeah.
And actually, I met my first crush in the car listening to Neil Young, and we were both like, what the hell is this guy saying?
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, it was very inspirational. I think love played a bit of a part, in moving towards the instrument, and also just how it was a process around how I came to understand falling in love with the music, even though there was a boy involved.
Yes, yeah.
There always is.
What styles of music really inspire you? And
I would say something with a really strong voice, and not a strong voice like a diva, more like a character.
Yeah.
And then the lyrical message. I think the folk music,
Yeah, because that always has a story behind
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
So the folk music, and then I love the production. Like if someone's got a very spiritual production. So in the neo hip hop state phase, it's like people like Drake who have that spiritual sound where there's a lot of effects and reverb. Yeah, so that's the sort of stuff I like to listen to.
Moves you.
Yeah, so even Bjork, is a big inspiration for me.
It's so quiet. I mean, her version of that song is really...
So she's a perfect example.
Yes.
Her voice is unique, her stories are very personal, and then her sound is very spiritual.
Yeah. What stories do you like to tell through your music?
I like to... I don't know, I think that I tell very personalized stories about how the system is affecting people, for lack of a better way of saying things. So sometimes it verges on politicized, but it's actually a very humanitarian story that I like to tell, because I feel like humanity's been detached, and I'm still trying to figure out what has created that detachment from itself and its environment. Being nature, as we are humans. So there's a psychological denaturation, there's a physical denaturation that humanity is going through. So I like to express that, because I spend a lot of time thinking about why are people suffering? Why does nobody care? Why do people care? Why do I care? If those people don't care, why do I care?
Why am I the one that's crying?
That's right. And it's a very internalized process, because you have to ask yourself, because the world is it's sort of like that Buddhist notion of there is light and darkness and light.
There'll always be balance. It's not like
right.
you can eradicate the one. You won't have the other one. Then you won't know the duality.
Thank you.
Without duality,
Yeah. So that's the kind of message that I try to play with. The lyrics are, I like to think, are in a very modern space, like a prophetic space. We all have a feeling of what's coming. Whether it's good or bad, and we choose to either fear it or to face it and to embrace it. So I like to look at those mental spaces that people enter, or that I enter.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to them as well.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody goes through different kinds of journeys.
That's right. And I had a friend who said to me, what, if you look at the world differently, it can be different. That's true, but at the same time, when you see homeless people, we just have to look outside the studio and see how bad the situation is. You can't neglect those things. So those are sort of realities I try and bring into the music as well.
Okay, cool. To just enlighten people.
Or depress them.
Hopefully not just make them sad. There's hope.
Well, it's very interesting. I've recorded 50 songs.
Wow.
And I've never released an album.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Most of the time I end up... well, actually, this particular phase with my record company, it was more a thing of where the music wasn't released, and I had to had to grow to understand the context that I'm actually living in. I came from London.
Yeah.
So I was very Eurocentric in my sound and appealing to a demographic that is not the majority of the population in this country or continent.
Yeah.
So I've spent a bit of time learning and advancing in my production. I mean, Africa has amazing sounds in terms of the drums and the voices, you know.
Yeah.
So I've been learning about that. Unfortunately, signing a record deal, you know, cash is king. You don't just put out music unless you've got like money.
Yeah.
So the people that have invested in me, you know, we've waited for the right sound and the right person as well. You know, people who would look at me like 5 years ago, I wasn't this person.
Yeah.
You know, I was just
In
like
5 years,
this
that's
British
a long
girl that was like, yeah, whatever. I play rock music, but the truth is, like, I'm actually a folk musician and I'm a very spiritual person. So I felt alienated as an artist. I found myself appealing to a market that wasn't actually who I am. And I still find it today. I mean, like, as hip hop has grown, you know, I find myself, look, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
You know? So I had to find the root. I had to find my roots even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've explored house a little bit and the drum sound. I'm also looking into language. Yeah.
What languages are you?
Zulu and Siswati. Siswati is my mother tongue.
Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Swaziland. Yeah.
That's where it all started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's more of the marketing strategy around what we're doing. The music is going to be available. I mean, fortunately, I have a good record deal in the sense that they believe in me as an artist.
It's
and
actually going to come to
everything's going to come
Yeah.
out. You're going to hear everything. You're going to hear where it started, and you're going to hear where it's going. But the thing is, once you have put out an album, as you said, the change. You know, sometimes an artist has just one role to play, and that is to deliver their message.
Yeah.
So I have to find the most effective way to deliver my message, and I've spent some time learning about that and figuring that out, so that the people who really need to hear it can hear it.
I appreciate that. That's a long journey, and that's a really cool story. I like that a lot. That's nice. It's different, you know. Everybody has a unique story, but it's nice to actually hear somebody who says, you know, it didn't just happen like that.
No,
you
it's
know?
sad. You know, I've encountered people who think I'm naive or that I'm foolish because, you know, with so much talent I could have made $1 million overnight. But the truth is I couldn't. There's no way in hell in this country with my character, my personality, and my being that I was going to be that person. I could have probably turned into like a diva and thought myself as arrogant and alienated myself from my process. And I wouldn't have fulfilled what I was supposed to do. I think the mission's big. When you talk about people like Fela Kuti and Michael Jackson, these were leaders. These were actually bigger than politicians. And it's not like I ain't trying to compete like with the ANC or anything. But I think the people need a voice that is peaceful as well. You know, because there's a lot of anger out there. We've got white policemen shooting black people in America. We've got black people killing white people in South Africa, and in America you've got xenophobia. You've got there's just problems, and without the right center to understand that that you are not the problem, you are the solution.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like a mind map. You have to unlock the process of how you got to that hate or to that anger, and try and reverse the equation so that you can get to peace.
Yeah, it's I can't remember, I'm like paraphrasing now this quote, okay guys?
It's okay,
but like, there's a quote out there that says that the solution or the invention of the floating of things was not discovered in the sinking of things. You know, you can't find a solution by thinking or focusing on the problem. It's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen. That's the looking back syndrome.
Yes.
And we have a history of violence and hate and anger. If we keep looking back and thinking that has anything to do with our future, I think we're kidding ourselves.
Yeah. Cool, man. You describe your musical style as African Gypsy indie rock. Do you feel like you're a nomadic, rebellious spirit?
Absolutely. I'm like, yeah, you got a problem, moving on, you know?
Yes, yeah.
People, I think sometimes I get misunderstood for being selfish, because I have to just keep moving. You know, there's many...
Got that adventurous bug in you, you know?
Yeah, and I kind of like, I'm just looking at the destination. And the destination is, I'm going to have to be accountable for the things that I say in my music and the things, the person that I put out. And I'm sometimes, I don't want to put other people in that, without sounding dramatic, but that line of fire, you know, because the industry can be very harsh. People judge you for like the stupidest and silliest things. But some people seek fame and they're like, yeah, we just want to be famous. But the truth is, it's not easy unless you made money to protect yourself from the scrutiny of other people. You're just gonna be very upset as to why this thing isn't working.
Yeah, true. So, you know, go your own way. Yeah,
that's right. So I try and like hold my head up and just keep playing music. It's not a selfish thing at all. I love all the people that, like, you know, we've been through the journey together with. It's just that I do realize that one day whatever I've said and whatever I've done throughout this journey, it's up to me.
It's your journey.
It's really up to me.
No one else can live it for you, or, you know.
That's right. And you know, art can be very pretentious. Do we really know why we're saying and doing what we're saying and doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's easy to misconstrue my defense of African children as being racist. You know, it's easy to do that because we're living in such a
bent out of shape about
exactly in such a schizophrenic world that that like I don't want other people like influencing my state of mind around it, because it's really about me and how
you see the
world.
I
see the world at
exactly.
the end of the day.
Just like any author can write a book from his perspective of, you know, any artist can, you know, just express their view.
Just express their view, yeah. And the beautiful thing is if you have people who support you rather than change you.
Yeah.
You know, it's always the challenge that I think artists or thespian artists end up dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're trying to be as pure as possible and not righteous but pure.
Yeah.
And as sincere so that people don't think that you're fake. You know, and that you will follow through on your words.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important because it's one thing me going, yeah, fees must fall, but then I'm like not doing anything about it. So I keep quiet about certain things, but other issues I will be vocal about because I know that socially we can change that.
Yeah.
It's not a political issue.
Yeah. Okay, so do you prefer spending more time performing, like on the road, or do you like to spend quiet time, you know, writing music, being in studio?
I love performing. I do love performing. It's just that I've had to spend a lot of time writing.
Yeah, it's just the stage you're in.
Yeah. I think this next year is just going to open, or this year actually, because it's already started. Because next month I'm starting to do a lot more gigs.
Okay,
so
yeah.
From now until then, I'll be out there a lot more performing. You'll be seeing a hell of a lot more of me.
Good,
which kind of scares me a little because it's been almost 2 years and I've just been indoors in studio writing, producing. I've also been learning new skills in video editing and producing films as well.
Great.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm happy.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Could you share a funny story from your travels for us?
A funny story? I could tell you some weird stories.
Sure, weird's good.
Like jumping on planes because somebody invited you and you got there and you found out that like they had a crush on you.
Oh wow, yeah.
But it's cool. It was a gig that paid like $5,000. So it was
cool, yeah.
Was it $5,000? Yeah, it was $5,000. But it was interesting, you know, like you did business, but you found out that the person had a crush on you.
Yeah, that's why you did business. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know.
I know.
Oh, okay. This had nothing to do with the music at all.
Right. Okay. Well, that was fun. Yeah, and then you just move on.
That was weird. I was just like, okay, cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Later.
Yeah, exactly.
At least I went out with my band, but yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. Hey guys, that was part 1. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for part 2 with Nancy G. We'll be talking about her views on music, giving advice to people in the industry, and also what it was like to be part of the Co-op The Lighthouse on 7th. Like, subscribe, and comment. Check you next time.
We could flow like the river that is flowing to the sea.